refocused. Oh my gosh. So just before I started I was streaming, but before I like turned, I swapped to actually like being streaming. Anyway, I've talked about this before. All of our power's messed up in our place. And so like our AC unit in the window in the bedroom is connected to here. And it turned off the camera and I have to refocus it, so don't mind me. I'm I don't love autofocus, so I do it myself. Cause it drives me crazy when people will be like, "Hey, let me show you something," and then it will like focus and then not refocus. I don't know. It's just it goes against my principles. So anyway, today I'd like to talk about Some Like It Hot because it's Pride Month and that feels like a good movie for that. So I want to do that, but I also just haven't done like a movie stream in a long time. So I think the last time I did one was like 2 months ago, like in March, which feels like an eternity ago. Sinners came out since then. To be fair, I have done a whole video about Sinners, but I always, I love it. I love talking about it. What else has come out? The new Mission Impossible was fun. I saw that in IMAX. I think my favorite part of that whole thing was when they were like switching from the regular aspect ratio to the IMAX, because I saw it in IMAX, and he's like turning the thing and it like gets bigger as he like cranks it. I love that. I love stuff like that. I love fun aspect ratio changes. I mean, that's part of what I loved about Sinners too, because anyway, there was some of that. Yesterday I saw The Phoenician Scheme. I really like that. I mean, I love Wes Anderson, and I'm gonna love basically anything that he does. So this was just more of what we love about him. I know a lot of people talk about how they don't love his newer stuff, but I don't mind it. I really like it. I don't think I've ever like watched a Wes Anderson movie I didn't like, whether that's like from his older work or his newer work. But yeah, so I liked it. I don't feel like it was any better or worse than his other work. I think I liked um hold on. I'll just pull it up cuz I have this in front of me. My computer. Wes Anderson. Oh, Asteroid City. I loved Asteroid City. I really liked that one a lot. I think I like that one more than The Phoenician Scheme, but it was fun because I feel like so many movies. There's, at least in my experience, there aren't a ton of movies about father daughter relationships. I mean, I guess there's like The Last of Us, but that's more like a found family father daughter. I don't know. That feels different to me than the Phoenician Scheme did. I really enjoyed that. And then I also have a fun thing that I bought that's movie related that I was like, it doesn't really make sense for me to show this off in like my other streams because it just isn't related, and it's not related to Some Like It Hot at all. But I just made one of the probably, I'm trying to think of a good word. Anyway, one of the happiest physical media purchases I have made in a long time. There was a sale and I was wanting to get this anyway, and I kind of forgot about it because it came out last year. But I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. So I got the Mad Max 5 film collection. So much. It's like heavy because I feel like a lot of discs now are like in their plastic case, and it's kind of, I don't know, it feels cheap. This does not feel cheap. So you've got this on the front, this on the back, Like, look at that. I'm in love. So let's pull it out. You've got this on the front with the, I think, is that the first one? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, okay. So this is the first one, I'm pretty sure. And then 2 and 3, as you open it like this. And then, let's see if I can open this way. Furiosa and Mad Max Fury Road. And then all the discs. Like, it's too big to be shown all at once. But yeah, you have the 5 discs. Mad Max here. Mad Max 2. Or the Road Warrior, I guess. Thunderdome. And then Fury Road. And then Furiosa. And then a bonus features disc. Anyway, I could not be happier with this. It's so cool. And just like so heavy. I don't know. I just feel like so many like cool. Like I also bought in this same purchase the Matrix, like the 4 films. I like the new one. It might be a hot take, but I like the new one. So I was happy that they were selling all 4 in the same thing, because I love all the Matrix movies. I think they're all fun. So it's just like, you know, in that plastic, that the plastic container, it's just bigger than like your normal 4K case. Yeah, and these are all in 4K too, which is cool. So I'm very thrilled that I bought this, and it makes me very happy that I have it. I have not seen the first Mad Max or the third one, but I've seen the second one, Fury Road, and Furiosa, which is, I don't know, maybe not the ideal way to watch it, but now I can watch them all 5 of them. But yeah, I love this. I am so happy with this, and I can't wait to see the because these are all in 4K as well, so it's not just like, I wonder if it says anything on here. I mean, this is from 2024, so it's dated 2024. Okay, and then here's all the credits. Samuel Z. Orkoff presents. Warner Brother Pictures presents. Kennedy Miller presents. Interesting. I just was like, sometimes they'll put like credits on here and stuff. Have fun. Anyway, I love Mad Max Fury Road is like one of my favorite movies ever. I do also really like Furiosa. I like that one a lot too. So I'm happy that I have it. Anyway, well, I'm here to talk about Some Like It Hot, but I've gotten distracted. I watched, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm actually going to talk about Some Like It Hot. I watched Final Destination, the first one, for the first time ever on Friday. And I feel like, as someone who has anxiety, I was like expecting it to be way worse. But I was like, this is just how I am all the time. I'm always like envisioning terrible scenarios, and they never happen, mostly. But I feel like everybody I talked to was like, I can't believe you're watching that. That's so scary. And I'm like, I don't know. It wasn't that scary. To me. I could see why it would be scary to other people, because it's more like realistic, quote unquote, than like other horror movies. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I want to watch the other ones. Luckily, they're all on Max, except for the newest one. But I still have ways to go anyway. And it was fun to see. Oh, what's his name that's in those? Final Destination. Tony Todd. When did he pass away? I know he passed away relatively recently. Oh my gosh, yeah. November 6th, 2024. So yeah, like last December. I thought it was like less recent than that. I knew it was recently, but less recent than like December. But yeah, he's in the Indiana Jones game, which is fun. I need to play more of that. Maybe after I'm done with Final Fantasy, whenever that happens, I'll play the Indiana Jones game. We'll see. Anyway, Some Like It Hot. Let's talk about it. I really enjoy this film. I think that so basically the way I pick the movies I pick for this, being totally truthful here, um I have a movie group that I host with my friends, and we do like a monthly theme. And this month I wanted to do a Pride Month theme, but I was trying to find something, and I'm sure there's more films like this that was before like the 90s, because I feel like so much of queer cinema is like only like recent stuff, which is makes sense. Like historically, of course, that's gonna make sense. But I was like, what would be something fun to show my friends that has queer themes, even if it isn't like explicitly like queer. At least it's got some like story elements. So I was like, this will be a good one, and I think that my friends liked it. They did not know the ending, which was fun. Oh, yeah, and just a warning, I'm going to talk about spoilers. So if you have not seen it, I will be talking about the movie. So watch out. Okay, let me pull up a still actually. Oh, this is so much bigger than I wanted. Hold on. Here we go. This is what I wanted. Hello, I'm over here now. And there's my blahage, just like, hey. I like sharks, if you can't tell. Anyway, so I really enjoy this movie. I think it's funny. It was fun watching it again because I don't know. I watched it by myself the first time and I enjoyed it. It was really good. Hello, how are you? Welcome. I'm just talking about Some Like It Hot today. It was fun watching it again with my friends because I had seen it and I knew the ending before I saw it. I saw the ending in like a film class. I can't remember the context of why we got shown the ending, but I had already known the ending, so it was fun watching it with a group of people who just like didn't know it and had never heard of it. And when we got to the ending, they were all like, "Oh my gosh, that's so funny." Because it's honestly one of the most iconic film endings, I don't know, just ever, I think. um, do I have any stills of that? I don't think I do. Don't mind me. No, but it's fine. Back to where I was. Okay. Um, so yeah, that was really fun. I think it's so the director Billy Wilder. The only other movie of his that I've seen is Sunset Boulevard, and these movies could not be more different from each other. I will say um I think it's funny that both of those movies, like Sunset Boulevard and Some Like It Hot, have like pretty iconic endings. Because you have like Sunset Boulevard where you have that scene where she's like, I'm ready for my close up, and it's just this iconic scene that shows up, gets referenced all the time. And then you also have the ending of this film where, they're on the boat and he's like, well, nobody's perfect. And so I just think that's funny. I would like to see more of his work, but I think those are probably his most iconic films. So it's not surprising that those are the ones that I've seen. Um, I found out while looking up stuff for this movie that it's a remake of a French film called, I'm like, I wrote this down in my notes, Fanfare of Love, from like the 30s. I tried to look up like a plot synopsis, but it was only a sentence, and it sounds basically the same as Some Like It Hot, where you have like, you know, two men who have to dress up as women in order to be part of a band. And that was it. That was like all it said. And I was like, okay, I guess that's the same thing. um, One fun thing about this movie was it was part of the reason, supposedly, that the Hays Code went away, because it wasn't like approved by the Hays Code because of, I can't think of anything specifically, but because of cross dressing that was not approved in the Hays Code, or and also homosexual pairings is specifically what is said. Because you have the two men, dancing or whatever, and I guess that wasn't seen as okay as part of the Hays Code. And I mean, the Hays Code was like really picky. It wasn't, it had rules about nudity, suggestive dances, discussions of sexual perversity, nudity, ridicule of religion is something that would like get you in trouble in the Hays Code. Lustful kissing, that's really funny. Scenes of passion. So anyway, that's why so many movies, and it was mostly from like 1930 to 19, the late 1950s, that this was really more strictly adhered to. And I think this is just me talking. I think it still is affecting the way we make movies today, especially in America, because so much, like, there's, at least as far as I can tell, and maybe I need to look more into this. The It seems like the Hays Code had no rules on like violence, and so I think because of that, so many American films and so much of like audiences today are so like anti sex or not romance necessarily, but just like in like Europe, it's not a big deal. I don't know. But to be fair, I think in the 1970s, like I took a 1970s film class, and almost every film that we watched, there was a topless woman. Like at some point in the film, I think we went too far, maybe. and I, and then now, like Gen Z and younger, they're like, "Oh, we don't like sex in our movies. It seems so useless to the plot." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, there's movies where that's an important part of the story, and I get that that's not important to every single story, but I don't know. I just think it's funny, and I feel like because of the Hays Code, even though it ended in 1960, so like almost 60 years ago, I still think it affects like the American sentiment towards sex in movies. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me just talking. But anyway, that is related to something like that. Because even though it did not like follow the code, people still went to go see it, and it did really well. And so I guess after that, they were kind of like, well, I'm trying to also read about this. But yeah, anyway, I think the Hays Code is really interesting, and I'd love to learn more about it, and I should. Um, because it to me, it seems like it has such a big effect on the way movies are made now. Um, but it didn't affect this movie. They still did it how they wanted to, and there were some scenes that even I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that." So I don't know. Um, Apparently they had trouble filming, I feel like with every older movie, there's some crazy story about how the filming went. It sounds like a lot of it was around Marilyn Monroe and her struggle in, like, to me, the way when I'm reading about the filming of this movie, it seems to me like she's just a perfectionist and is really trying to, I don't know, just like make everything as perfect as she can. And because of that, she would do like tons and tons of retakes, and like some shots would take like up to like 80 takes, which is crazy. So I don't know. I don't think that it was out of like malice or anything, but I guess I don't know. I wasn't there. It just seems like she was really worried and really stressed and just wanted things to be as perfect as they could be, which I think is admirable, but it is annoying when you're on a film set and everybody's waiting for you and you're just like trying to make it perfect, but everybody's like, no, we got it, you're good. So that I could see that being frustrating. Um, I guess the line at the end of the film, well, nobody's perfect, that's now like super iconic, was a placeholder. They were like, oh, when we get there, we'll figure out something better to say and it'll be perfect for the thing. And then they were like, oh, you know what? And they just like didn't think of anything better. So that's how the movie ends. I feel like I need to pull up a picture of the ending. Open image in a new tab. This is a terrible quality. Okay. Open image in a new tab. Let's see if this is better. Okay. Yeah, that is better. I didn't mean to make it big again. Hold on. Here we go. But yeah, this iconic final scene where he's like, "Well, I'm not a natural blonde. I can't have children." It's like, that's fine. We can adopt some. And then he's like, "Well, I'm a man." And then he says, "Well, nobody's perfect." It's so good. It's so good. And I guess the director Billy Wilder, on his tombstone it says, "I'm a writer, but then nobody's perfect," like calling back to this line, which is kind of crazy to me, but cool. Like, I don't know, that's a fun thing to have on your tombstone. um yeah, I love that line. It's so good. I guess they shot it in black and white because when they first put the makeup on the guys, they were saying that they looked terrible. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that because, like, I found some images from behind the scenes, and he's like, it made them look yellow, and I'm like, or not yellow, made him look green, and I'm like looking at this, and I'm like, he looks fine. I don't know. Like, but I love that they're wearing like the same lip color. I think that's very fun. I don't know if that was intentional, but even like in this group picture, everybody's wearing the same like red lip. I don't know. He doesn't look that out of place here. So, I don't know. Beats me. I think it could have been done in color, but the black and white looks nice. I love black and white, but I just like because I was like, they can't have looked that bad. I don't know. And then maybe part of me was like, I've watched enough drag queens putting crazy makeup on to like accept that it might be strange, maybe, but I don't know. I don't think it looks that bad. So that's my 2 cents about the makeup specifically. Um, but yeah, it was shot in black and white for that reason, and I guess Marilyn Monroe had it in her contract that no movie that she was in could be in black and white for some reason, and they like talked her out of it because they were like, it's really important that our movie looks a certain way, and we want to make sure that, the guys look good and their makeup looks fine. So I guess she agreed to it. Maybe they paid her more or something. um, it was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards, but it only won for Best Costuming for a black and white picture, which I didn't even realize was a thing, that like black and white pictures and pictures in color would get separate awards. But it makes sense because like it looks different, and you costume differently for a black and white picture than you would for something in color, because the color doesn't matter other than how it shows up in the black and white. Like, you're gonna light something differently if it's in black and white, and like makeup was done differently in black and white to make it pop or whatever. And so I don't know, it makes sense to me that during this time where you could kind of go either way, like now it's like a big deal if someone shoots something in black and white, but back in the day it was like, okay, you can do it in color or black and white, and both are like good and valid options, and you can see either thing. There was no, I don't know, it just seems like there was no expectation either way, and maybe there was in some form that I just don't know about, but it seems like it was more, at least to the point where they had an award separate for the black and white from the color. It just seems like it was, accepted that they would be both things. So I watched this with my group of friends, and they were all dying at the accent that the main actor, what's his name? Or the actors. Hold on. Let me just pull up the wiki, because I know Marilyn Monroe, but all the other actors I don't know off the top of my head. Tony Curtis. Is he the... Yes. Okay. So Tony Curtis, the guy playing the fake oil baron, this fellow, his like man accent, his fake rich man accent. Oh, he was in that first picture as like, okay, when he was playing this guy, when he was like trying to pretend to be, the guy who owns Shell, or the son of the guy who owns Shell. He was trying to imitate Cary Grant, apparently. And like, me and my friends were all kind of laughing because they were like, he kind of sounds like he's trying to imitate Tom Hanks playing Forrest Gump, and like that accent. It doesn't sound like Cary Grant to me at all. Hold on. Last time I played a video during one of these, I got in trouble, but I want to just compare it because I think that's such a funny idea. Let's just listen to like a tiny bit of Cary Grant talking. Cary Grant. Oh, To Catch a Thief. That's a good one. Actually, I haven't seen it. So let's just listen to Cary Grant real fast, and then we will compare. Oh, I don't have my headphones. That will make listening kind of hard. Okay, let me go into game view.
Are you sure this is the right address?
Well, it is a little large, but it's on the real estate agent's list.
Let me see.
Let's look at the gardens first. No need to bother the people. Why don't you own a place like this?
Palaces of
You know what? I can kind of hear it, actually. Because we were all like, where did he come up with this accent? Like, what the heck?
We're just common people with a bank account.
That sounds more like your mother than you.
There's not much difference.
Okay, so that's Cary Grant. We kind of get a feel for like what he sounds like, and then let me find some like a hot scene where he's doing like the fake accent. if I can find it. Okay, let's look at movie clips. They should have something. Hold on. I did not prepare this, but I just was like, it just seems so silly to me. Like, where did this accent come from? I'm trying to find the scene on the beach, because it's like the most he talks with that accent, if I remember right. Oh, I guess he also talks to her on the boat too, huh? Okay, this is on the train. This when they get to the hotel. Someone may or may not have posted the whole movie onto YouTube, in case anybody's wondering what I'm looking at. Okay. Oh my gosh, wait.
Staying at the hotel?
Not at all.
Face is familiar.
Possible you've seen it in the newspapers or magazines. Vanity Fair.
Okay, I don't hear it anymore. There's no way that's he was trying to imitate. Wait, I need to listen a little more.
Would you mind moving just a little, please? You're blocking my view.
Like, what is that? Maybe it makes more sense as an accent. You know, almost this movie's gonna be 70 in a few years, and maybe it makes more sense in that time. I thought that by watching these two together, I would like finally understand the accent, but I do not get it. I do not understand. That's so funny. It's like, I'm gonna prove something here. I'm gonna prove that he wasn't crazy and was just like doing the right thing for that. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, it still sounds like a crazy accent. But yeah, he was trying to sound like Cary Grant, which I think is very funny. And I don't see it. I don't see it. Or hear it, I guess, because it's, you know, an accent. That was a total all over the place. I guess when they were doing like test screenings for the movie, they had to reshoot the scene where Daphne says she got proposed to because people were laughing too hard. And that's like, what a fun problem to have, that like people are just laughing at your scene too much to like hear what's happening. I've been looking at that same thing. I have a headcanon that these two, after the movie is over, like end up living together, just because it seems like they eventually got along after dancing. They just seemed like two peas in a pod. I don't know. Like, even if, I don't know. Yeah, I just, in my head, they ended up living together and they were both really wealthy. And his mom, because, you know, he was all worried about what his mom would think and of her or him. I don't know. And this, like, that his mom loves Daphne or whatever. Jerry. I was like, what was his other name? I can't remember. They just end up being happy forever after and not having to worry about money. When the movie came out, it was banned in Kansas. This phrasing is so funny. It's because it was too disturbing for Kansans. Specifically. They're like, no, we can't have this here. People in Kansas, this is too disturbing for them. For Kansans. Do people from Kansas call themselves Kansans? I guess I wouldn't know. I don't think I've ever been to Kansas. Oh, and another fun thing, the guy who does the train voice at Disneyland, he does the like wall aboard for the train that goes around Disneyland. He also does the voice for the people announcing that the train is going to be leaving at the beginning of the movie, or beginning-ish of the movie. So that's kind of fun. Anthony Perkins was offered the role of Joe, and he didn't accept it, but that's okay. That would have been different, I think. It would have been a different movie. I have only seen Anthony Perkins. I'm too tall. Anthony Perkins in Psycho. But it would have been different. I think it's so funny, as a side thing, that his son now directs like horror films. I think that's cool. Like, I don't know. I think it's funny that he was in Legally Blonde and then hasn't really been acting a whole lot since then. But yeah, I think that's cool that he does that. Yeah, this movie's just really funny. If you have not seen it, I would recommend seeing it with a group. I had a better time watching it. Not that I didn't like it the first time, but I liked it more this time watching it with my friends, because it was fun seeing them react to everything for the first time. They just like didn't know. So everything was kind of a surprise. Which I think is fun. And then yeah, I don't know. I think it's very funny. It reminds me of like the Shakespeare comedies, where like so much of it is like about people dressing up not in their dressing up in different genders, and like all the shenanigans that happens. And I think that's fun. It's like a modernish version of that. Oh, and I wanted to talk about the mob. I think it's so funny that the mob is such a big part of this movie, and I kind of forgot, because like going into it, you're like, oh, it's the cross-dressing movie, and Marilyn Monroe is also there, and that's like what it's known for. But like the mob is like a huge part of this movie, and it's like a huge part of what the driving force of the film is. I guess originally it was going to take place in modern day, so in the 1950s, but they were like, I don't feel like poverty is motivation enough for these guys to dress up. So they added the bit where they're like running away from the mob because, they witnessed someone being killed. I also really loved this shot. That's why I grabbed it. I was like, oh, I forgot how fun. I don't know. Sometimes cinematography, like really fun cinematography, just like shows up in a movie like this, where it's like not known necessarily for its cinematography. It's not bad, but like I love little stuff like this where you're like, oh, how fun. I love that. I wonder how they did that. Just, making sure the focus was good. And what a fun way to like kind of tie all the movie together, because you have him looking at his mirror, right? That he wouldn't have had they not been running away from the mob. That was part of his like costume that he had put on. And he's like opening it and then sees the mob, the reason that they're there, the reason that they're dressed up. It just kind of ties everything all together, and I kind of love that. I don't know, that these like men are using these feminine tools to assist them in not just hiding from the mob, but also, being able to see them without them seeing their faces. So I think that's fun. There's a lot going on here that's not just on the surface, and it's like 2 seconds in the movie, but it communicates a lot, and I like that. But yeah, I just think it's funny that the mob is such a big part of this movie, because you could have like I don't know, I just forget, like because I watched this for the first time maybe last year or the year before, and I totally forgot watching it again that the mob was really involved at all. And like the movie starts with a car chase. How fun is that? I also really liked this shot. It's not to do with the mob at all. I think it's there's a shot where they all like cross their legs down the line, essentially. And I love that. I loved watching that, and just this whole, I don't know, it really shows like who are they going to be running into at the resort or whatever it is? It's going to be old wealthy men, which is what they talk about, you know. And she's like so I think that's fun. I really like this behind the scenes stuff. I always love looking at behind the scenes. So you've got, you know, your, if I had to guess, this is a grip, guarantee it. Grips are always not wearing shirts when it's hot, I swear. You've got your big light. I'm kind of glad that we don't have these like big, super big lights anymore. You have your diffuser that they're diffusing the sun with to kind of control their light. I do not know what that is. My guess is this is like hair and makeup or wardrobe, or, and then the camera's here. Yeah, I don't know. It's just fun. I like seeing like what equipment they're using, because this is a C-stand. The good old C-stand has been used for millennia. I don't know. Just kidding. You know what would be an interesting deep dive for me to go into? The history of the C-stand. Like, where did that come from? Was that a thing that existed? You know what? Since we're here, I'm just going to do a quick Google. Where did C-stands come from? Okay, we're going on a quick Wikipedia deep dive here. In film production, a C-stand is primarily used to position light modifiers, such as silks, nets, flags, in front of a light source. So you have like, here, let me pull up I'm just looking at the wiki article. So you have, you know, your C-stand like this, and you can attach stuff to it. It's really nice. It comes from the early history of lighting equipment. I mean, I would assume, because it seems like they've been around forever. It was named for the company that first produced... Oh, when? It's not fully researched, I guess. Bespoke lighting gear for live theater and filmmaking. Century Lighting, based in New York City, which later became Century Strand and eventually Strand Lighting. In later years, studios, grips, and gaffers began to manufacture the earliest versions of what we now call C-stands. The original C-stands had wielded bases that did not fold up or adjust, but the fact that they easily nested together made them invaluable on stage. Today, the term C-stand is a popular name for the grip stand made by Matthews Studios Equipment, Inc., and has been copied by other manufacturers. Yes, okay. In 1974, Matthews Studio Equipment introduced the studio's first folding base C-stand. Matthews provides a way... This is what I'm used to, is the, like, folding. So basically the bottom, if you unscrew it, you can, like, turn all the sections. There's probably a video of it somewhere. Hold on. Like, it's hard to describe. C-stand folding.
Hey, T. How you doing?
Oh, don't mind that. It's just an ad for a complete unknown. That's playing. I guess it's on Hulu. But yeah, this guy, he's this is Dr. Rave, if anybody's curious. I want to see him but yeah, normally, so it comes like that, which is nice, and then you can like fan it out into that like tripod shape, and it like locks in. Yeah, and then you put the C-stand on the top. He's probably talking about something. But anyway, you attach stuff to the top of it. But anyway, I wish you could see the bottom of that, because I guess the folding C-stand is newer than this movie is. So I'd be curious, like, what, like, the 1950s version of the bottom of a C-stand is. I don't know. That's fun. Oh, and you've got, okay, there's more equipment in here. We've got a big light, something blocking out the sun from the camera. I can't see anything else. But this looks like camera to me. These don't have any film equipment, but I think they're cute still. They look like besties. They might have been. They might not have been. Who knows? Really could have been either way. And then this is just funny. I love that they're all wearing the same lip color. And maybe it just like shows up better in black and white or something. But it also might have just been a popular lip color at the time. So there's that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say about this movie. I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's worth a watch. I find it very funny and fun, and I wish more movies were like that because they're like fun and funny movies. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I am gonna be planning another stream later this week. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of stuff for Next Fest because I want to play some new games, and Disney Dynamite Valley will be between new updates anyway, so I'm not gonna play that. We're just waiting for the next update next week, and then I'll probably play some Final Fantasy maybe Saturday. We'll see. I'm in the middle. You guys are getting some behind the scenes. I'm in the middle of working on a few videos about the movie Jaws, one of my faves. I always pull this up and I'm like, I can't even see it because of all the lights. I think it's from the computer, so I can't really like stop that. And I think I'm almost done with the first script. I want to have the video out by the time the actual 50th anniversary of Jaws is, which is next week. Next Friday. So we'll see. I still need to film it. But I'm excited. I've spent a lot of time reading books about the movie. I've read the Jaws log, which I actually really enjoyed this. As someone who works in production, it was interesting hearing the similarities and differences on production in the 70s. And some of it might be, I've mostly worked in smaller productions, and so working on a big Hollywood picture is a little bit different. But if you're ever wondering about what production is like, mostly pre-production and production, there's not a lot about post-production. I will be honest, I wish there was more, but mostly that's probably because I mostly work in post-production, so that was probably just a me preference. And post-production is usually and then everybody was inside, now it's looking at a computer. But they had a machine, what did they call it? Hold on. A KEM. To watch the footage. Editing machine. I just want to see what it looks like, because he's talking about it and I'm I can't even picture that. That's crazy. I don't think I could have been an editor in past times. Look at this. This is crazy. And you'd have to sew the film to itself in order to make cuts. Editing now is just so much easier. But to be fair, and they talk about this, I don't know if it's in the book, but I read about this. They're people are so picky about edits now, because you can be. You've got so much more versatility, and if you mess up a cut and you cut too early, it's so much easier to fix it because you can just hit Control-Z. Whereas back then you'd have to unstitch it and find the stuff you'd been using, add in a couple frames, and they were physical frames. That's just so crazy to me. Maybe I should do a video about video editing, because I think it's kind of associated with it seems more like a masculine job, because it sounds crazy, but in film there are feminine jobs and masculine jobs, which is crazy. You have the makeup team, that's more feminine-esque. Anything to do with production design, whether that's costuming, makeup, usually women fill those roles. Just if we're going by the most stereotypical of stereotypical. And then you've got like the director is usually a man, you know, your producer is often a man. Though I think more often than not that could go either way. But for some reason editing has this reputation of being a more masculine job, when in reality that's not the case, because it was associated with sewing, because part of like the way that you would edit is you would have to physically sew, and I'm sure there were other ways of doing this too, sewing like the film reels together, and so it was seen as more feminine. And so that's where we get people like Thelma Shoemaker, who's been editing forever, and like the lady who edited Jaws, and then Marsha Lucas, who edited Star Wars and kind of saved Star Wars. Anyway, that would be a fun thing to research. So anyway, I'm all over the place today. I did take a nap, and my headache's gone, because I had a headache earlier today. And so maybe I'm still just, like, recovering. I don't know. Anyway, I'm excited to have that done, and so that will be my highest priority over everything, because I want to make the Jaws videos good. Oh, I also read this book, on location on Martha's Vineyard. This was fun. It was fun, kind of learning about the production from the perspective of someone who wasn't, like, in Hollywood, because it seems like this is more like insider knowledge or whatever. And then this is like what it was like to be living in Martha's Vineyard when the film crew like took over your town, essentially. And it was fun hearing her kind of being like amused by Hollywood's like lack of knowledge about their area. And I'm like, to be fair, they were in California, which is very different from the East Coast, and also no one had ever filmed a movie on the ocean before. Like, it just didn't happen. Everybody was doing all that kind of stuff on a soundstage, because it gave you more control, and, you know, they learned during Jaws why maybe that's not such a great idea, but it does end up, anyway, it does end up being a really great movie, and it looks really great. I just can't imagine working on that set, because it originally started, like, they were planning on being there for only 55 days, and then it ended up being 150. Can you imagine? Like, I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of someone on the crew who's like, oh yeah, I have this gig, and it's going from, because they started in May, till beginning of July, before the 4th of July, or whatever. And then it ends up going till September. I just feel like I'm always making so many plans all the time. I'd be like, oh, I missed my trip with these guys and so-and-so's wedding, and I don't know. I'm sure they worked that kind of stuff out, but I just, from their perspective, I think that would be really tough. And, you know, the actors too, because I'm sure they had other gigs they wanted to do, or like to take a break after filming, but they just like didn't get to, and maybe they had to start their next gig really fast. Because they were just, like, waiting. Especially, like, the 3 main characters. Because all the, like, supporting actors are never in the ocean, really. Unless it's, like, for a quick scene. Anyway. I've been spending a lot of time doing that. And I just feel like I have all this information about Jaws in my head. But it's not even going to end up in the video. Probably. Not all of it. Anyway. That's all I have to say about that. I hope you all have a great week. I will be posting another streaming schedule probably tomorrow or the day after for like this weekend. And then I'm planning on doing, rather than a Shark Week, because I'm kind of doing a Jaws thing over a couple weeks, I'll be doing like a Jaws weekend. Not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after. So, there's that. I have a Jaws Lego. It's not with me, so I'll probably build that as one of the things. I don't have access to any Jaws video games, unfortunately. Because they're all, like, too old. Maybe I can find, like, an emulator or something. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful night and a great week. Oh my gosh, you're fun. I'm just talking about nothing. How are you? Have you seen Some Like It Hot? You should watch it if you haven't. I think you'd like it. I don't know, maybe not. I'm doing good. I had a headache earlier, but I took a nap. I left work early and I took a nap. And then I went to... And then now I'm here. It's fun. It's really fun. Yeah, let me show you if you want to see. This is it in color. Naps are goose. Naps are indeed the best. But yeah, basically, these guys have to get in drag because they're on the run from the mob. It's like a really funny premise. And then while they're doing that, they run into Marilyn Monroe. And one of them wants to... Well, they both kind of want to be with Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, it is really fun. And, like... Yeah, here's some behind-the-scenes pictures in color. Where they're, like, you know, all in makeup. But yeah, it's from 1959, so it's older. It, is one of the movies that made the Hays Code go away. Yeah, that's why I picked it. I was like, I want to pick a Pride... you know, like a queer movie that's not from the last like 30 years, because I feel like there's a lot of those and there's a lot of really good ones, but so much of like queer representation pre the 90s, you know, or even, you know, more, yeah, like during the Hays Code had to be a lot more subtle, and like there was like code for queer characters that, you know, that's why people are like, oh, this villain is so queer-coded. You know, all the Disney villains is because, you know, back in the 50s, that's where they're pulling from, and older, they had to make people who seemed gay, like, evil, you know, and that's, anyway. That's neither here nor there. But this movie is at least, like, I don't know. It's just fun. It's not like anything revolutionary or anything, but as far as like representation goes, because it's not even trying, as far as I can tell, to be like a trans allegory or anything, but it is still fun. So, would recommend. I think it's on Amazon Prime right now. That's how I watched it. Oh, I forgot to talk about there's a Criterion collection of this. It is part of the Criterion collection, and they just re-released it in 4K, which is fun. I'm curious to see what that looks like. It is a digital restoration, so be careful with those, because sometimes that means they will use AI. I don't think they would do that for the Criterion collection, but just in general, that will often mean that they will use AI to like enhance it, but oftentimes it just looks terrible. So, I don't know. Maybe I would need to do more research into this, but I don't know. These stills look really nice.
All aboard. This was your identity.
Anyway. Yeah, it's a good one. Highly recommend. Great for Pride Month. Yeah, I'll be doing more Pride movies. If I actually end up doing one every week, what I'm thinking is, so I'm going to be doing The Birdcage next week, because I love that movie. And then the week after, one of my friends wanted to make us watch the cheerleader one. What's that called? It's got RuPaul in it. Is it Because I'm a Cheerleader? But I'm a Cheerleader from 1999. It's got RuPaul. It's basically about like a conversion camp, but it's supposed to be funny. So, I don't know. And then the week after, another one of my friends suggested a new movie that came out, I think last year, that has Jonathan Groff in it. Where he like falls in love with a guy from India. A Nice Indian Boy, that's what it's called. I think it looks cute. Yeah, it came out in in the US it came out this year actually. So it's new. But we'll see if I actually end up streaming all those times. Work has been crazy, so anyway. I'm about done with everything I have to say about that movie. But thank you for joining. I'll be streaming again later this week, playing some demos for Next Fest. So that'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then I'll be doing like a Jaws weekend next weekend for the 50th, because the 50th anniversary is not this Friday, but next Friday. And I wanted to do something then, so I'm still planning that. We'll see what that ends up looking like. Anyway, thank you for joining, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.